Well, it's September 3rd, or I should say September 2nd. These are school donations for September 3rd when I bring the boss to school for her first day at school. And the donations start with Susquehanna period or ceramic period face and stone, igneous stone. That is quite a work of art for its time. The indigenous people believed in the spirits of the air, the underwater spirits, the sky spirits, the stone spirits. They believed spirits were in everything, even waterfalls. They believed in the thunderbird. They believed in the horned panther or underwater serpent. This is quite a remarkable piece of art. Now we have, this is quartz crystal bird effigy. It's in the 1,000-year-old range, and we have a shale grebe effigy in the 1,000-year-old range. That is, that's a nice piece of work. To look at it from this side, it doesn't look it, but to look at it from this side, yep, it's a bird effigy in shale. That's glassy quartz, and it's beautiful. This rock quartz, I should say quartzite carving of a bird is, the work was so delicate. The artist that did this at some point in the last 1,000 years, they were really good because they put the short-faced bear artist work to shame. The short-faced bear artist work, he did the short-faced bears. But whoever did this really knew what they were doing. This is the finest piece of Upper Neolithic period crystal carving I have ever seen. It's amazing, amazing work. Now this looks like an ordinary kerosene lamp wick. You just turn that little wheel there and it turns the wick up and down. But the patent stamp on that little wheel actually reads E. Miller and Company, patented April 7th, 1868. There was a whole lot of history passed because the kerosene lamp came out in 1850. That's when the very first kerosene lamp was invented. And now this here, there's a lot of sand in there, but well, to put it simply, it's I think 8 years before Custer was massacred at the Battle of Little Bighorn. Now, this here was made in it was patented in the United States, the American West. In 1868, the miners were invading the Black Hills. The Conestoga wagons were passing Chimney Rock. The 1868, that was the Civil War was coming to an end in 1868. That's why this antique is very important. Now here we have pieces of pipe stem, and we've got one bead, one very, very, very small part of a bead there. Now that is 1600s. Most of these are all 1700s. This is all New France period stuff. And a world of history went by on that one. Now, this is rough turquoise. In other words, raw turquoise. It was a nugget of raw turquoise, and it was almost split in half when I found it, but I just gave it a little tug, and it came apart, and yeah, it's all turquoise, raw turquoise. To have a turquoise, to make turquoise jewelry, what they would do is they would cut and polish it to the shape of whatever they were going to use for the jewelry, and put it on the, adjoin it to the metal jewelry, and voila, you have turquoise jewelry. Now these are raw gemstone. They have to be cut, polished. So they have to be cut, shaped, and polished. And then they could be put on rings or earrings, and then they could be sold as gems. But in this state, fresh off the beach, they're going to look in a pretty rough state. That's why they call it raw gemstone or rough gemstone. And we have agatized fossil coral, Jurassic period. Now this stuff is so glassy, it looks like it is really glassy, and it's beautiful, really extremely beautiful. Now we have fossil coral from the Devonian period. Yep, fossil coral, Devonian period. It's amazing what will wash up with the tide. And we have one English tobacco pipe, circa 1670 to 1710. To think I had waded out into the water just before, at dusk, and the only reason I found this was the light from the city was shining into the harbor, and I could see the beach bottom. The bottom, I could see the bottom. I could look through the water and see the bottom clearly, and I saw that shape. And I just had to grab it because I knew it had to be a pipe, because I seen too many of these on the Google pages. And it was a pipe. Now, 1670 to 1710, the Acadia stretched from most of what is now Maine, across New Brunswick, and south over all of Nova Scotia and PEI. That's where the Acadians were living. And they got along well with the indigenous people of the time. But the only reason that English pipes like this would be present in this harbor was that that was the era of the French and the Indian Wars. This pipe came from a British soldier who was fighting the French or fighting the Passamaquoddy or Micmac or Maliseet, something along that line, because the colonial powers, Britain and France, were battling for control of the empire of North America. And everybody knows the history of that war. Well, these are my donations for St. John the Baptist for tomorrow, September 3rd. I believe the teacher should be very happy, because these will be learning aids for any teacher teaching history and sciences. This is really nice. Just 1 second. To think that a human hand, hundreds of years ago, maybe even 1,000 years ago, did this. Were they thinking of a loved one? Were they thinking of someone very important? Is this a shaman stone? Is this was this someone trying to get closer to the stone people? After all, the indigenous people over the last 3,000 years believed everything had a spirit. There was the sky spirits, the underwater spirits, the earth spirits, and if you wanted to get in touch with the earth spirits, if you wanted to evoke the magic of the earth spirits, maybe carving a human face in a stone would help evoke that power, whatever power they imagined. But this is a powerful human statement for its time. Now all this, I don't think that is an accident. Because if you were going to chant a prayer for to the stone spirits, you would want to offer smoke or smoke of some kind. You would they might burn something in there to offer smoke and chant their prayer. Yeah. This is a beautiful piece of work. And there's it's the crystal bird is a beautiful piece of work. The children at St. John the Baptist, from tomorrow on and for years to come, will have these things in the science program to look at, to learn from. And when those kids learn about the past, it may help them move into the future a little quicker or better. You think so, Stone? A little bit of humor on my part. All right. I will see you online.